This week on Previews World Weekly, we discuss the layoffs at DC, New York Comic Con going online this year, and we finally settle the great debate. What do you prefer, floppies or graphic novels? It's all happening right now on Previews World Weekly.
What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday. It's New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for Previews World Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood, joined by my baby Yoda, by the way, that I need to immediately point out.
Wait, you seem surprised that he was in the camera. Was that like by accident, or did you bring him on as a special guest?
I brought him on and I'm so excited about it.
Well, okay, now you got to shout this out. What is this exactly? What type of Baby Yoda is this? What's going on here?
Hi. Okay, so this is the Baby Yoda plushie from Mattel. He's like apparently, allegedly, like true to size, Baby Yoda size.
Oh, really?
His
Okay.
head is enormous. Which he's like, his body's plush. One of his hands is like, it's this one. He's got one force hand.
Okay.
His other hand is like regular.
Just regular, degular.
I'm super hype about him. He's adorable. I have like annoyed my family members with this Baby Yoda, and now I'm moving on to Previews World Weekly.
Okay. How did you annoy your family with the Baby Yoda? Like, what were you doing?
Look at him! Touch him!
Does he talk or anything? Does he do anything special? It's just
No, he's just the plush one. Although
Okay.
the animatronic Baby Yoda will be coming out in November.
Okay. You're gonna double down, have some twins?
Probably, yeah.
Probably. Well, I love it. That's good. Actually, I'm glad we could open on that note because the next thing I'm going to talk about is not as upbeat. But yeah, I'm glad we found it like a nice little segue, Dix, to Baby Yoda. So look, yeah, we try to keep things upbeat, but look, the DC layoffs are actively happening. They have happened. There's a lot of bunch of speculation about what's going on in the world of the comic industry right now, right? Look, we don't have any inside track. We only know what you guys know, of course. But look, it sucks that people get laid off. It sucks that people lose their jobs. It's happened to me before. You know what I mean? Like, and you kind of sit there being like, man, I wish I could have. God, look at that graphic. But you kind of sit there like, oh man, like I wish I'd seen this coming, or any number of things. So it sucks for the people involved, and like, I just want to wish them all like good luck on getting back on their feet, and hopefully some great things will happen for them in the near future, and hopefully DC's in a good position. We can't really speak to what's going on inside DC right now, of course, but it sucks. It sucks when people lose their jobs, especially really talented people that are part of comics that we know and love. And this is just another casualty of, truthfully, of COVID-19. I can't imagine blaming this on anything else at this point. Like, I think that's really what the culprit is here. So,
right.
Yeah. It blows. It sucks. Sorry, guys. Yeah, again, wish you all the best. I hope everyone's going to bounce back successfully in the near future. Ashton, give me something happy to talk about. What's been going on? Oh, hold on.
More
Ubaldo.
Baby Yoda.
More Baby Yoda. Actually, hold on. Ubaldo. You're losing it. Ubaldo says, awesome Baby Yoda, make him a regular. Okay, yeah, there you go.
Done.
What did you see this week in the world of comics that isn't depressing news about DC Comics?
Ooh. Oh, okay. Well, that's very specific.
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet, who plays Paul Atreides in the new upcoming Dune movie, announced on Twitter that the trailer will be dropping by the end of the month. So I'm very excited about that. There were rumors like circulating before that they were gonna like premiere that trailer at San Diego Comic-Con, but because that kind of went the way of everything else, they held off on that. So I'm super excited for this. I can't wait to see what this looks like.
Actually, I'm kind of curious why they held off on doing it at San Diego. Like, I mean, it's cool that we're getting it now. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I wonder why they didn't do San Diego. That seems like a pretty obvious thing to do. I don't know, but that's interesting. I know you're excited because you've been reading Dune. Are you done? Are you done with the first Dune book now? Did you actually wrap on it?
Yeah. I finished that a while ago.
Okay,
I finished it back in like April or May, something like that.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. So are you going to continue reading the rest in the series, or are you going to kick your feet back and wait for the movie at this point?
At this point, I'm probably going to kick my feet back and wait for the movie, just because I had moved on to reading. I'm in the middle of reading something else right now, so I don't want to like have too many like balls in the air, because Dune is like a big whole thing. So that's like something you have to devote your energy to. So at the moment, I have moved past Dune, but I'm still super hyped. I do want to point out Dune, I think, is the only movie left on like the theatrical release schedule for this year that hasn't moved its date.
Oh, was it for this year? It's supposed to be this year?
December 18th.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Yeah. Okay. For some reason I thought it was gonna be 2021, but okay, that makes sense. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's up with that. Who's releasing it? It's not Disney. It's I just assume everybody's Disney this time. But like,
No.
is it Fox? Universal? Who's doing the Dune movie? I don't even know.
Paramount, maybe?
Is it Paramount? Maybe. Okay. Interesting. Okay, yeah, we'll see. Like, we'll see what's going on. Of course, I've been reading nonstop the ongoing drama about Disney going straight to digital, and then there was a whole pissing contest with AMC and Universal earlier a few months ago. So yeah, we'll see where it's going. Who knows? Everything's up in the air, guys. It's 2020. Speaking of up in the air, one thing that's no longer up in the air. Oh, hold on, we got Anton here. Those who control the spice control the universe. That's for you, Ashton.
He knows what's up. It's true.
Matt Barham says, I don't think Ashton is responsible enough to take care of one, let alone two baby Yodas.
Damn. Hold on, Matt. My baby Yoda is healthy.
Shout out to Matt for being our personal troll. Matt works in the graphics department, by the way, guys. So not all of you can talk to Ashton like that, but Matt certainly can. I feel like he's earned that right at this point in time. Anyway, speaking about things getting somewhat back to normal, right? New York Comic Con is officially turning into a virtual event. They recently announced, actually just as of yesterday, that they're going to be moving the entire show on October 8th through the 11th to YouTube, and then you can go to the New York Comic Con official YouTube channel to experience panels from American Gods, Star Trek, DreamWorks, Hulu, FX. And also a virtual marketplace, which is also going to be announced, or some more details are going to be forthcoming about that. So definitely check that out. Sorry, guys, that dropped pretty shortly, so I had to look at my notes on that one. My bad. But yeah, so New York Comic Con's happening. It's just not going to be in New York. It's going to be in your house. How about that, right? Just like everything else this year. It's all virtual. Also, speaking of virtual cons, I do have to point this out. I'm hosting 3 panels for Mainframe Comic Con this weekend. One of which is going to be with AWA. Another one's going to be about Hollywood and comics IPs going to Hollywood. So definitely check that out. Go to mainframe.com, mainframecomiccon.com, sorry. And just, sign up for the newsletter. Get updated on when the show drops. It's going to happen Saturday and Sunday. It's a 2-day event. You're going to definitely get guys like Donnie Cates there. Mark Wade's got a thing going on there. Got Ahoy Comics. It's a big one. So like, yeah, wow. Al Ewing. I raised my hand to host the Al Ewing panel, and I got swatted down on that one. So I'm a little disappointed, but you should still check it out regardless, because it's kind of cool. All right, one last bit of business. Ashton.
That's me.
It's Shark Week.
It is Shark Week.
And so we ended up in this weird rabbit hole yesterday online because we were trying to figure out, what our weekly poll was going to be for the audience, right? And we ended up finding this random DC character called Geppi. Oh. Who I didn't know was a thing, but apparently he was a character in the Nightwing books like a few years ago. And he's created by Sam Humphries and Bernard Chang. He's a low-level shark boy with a pathetic mustache. He's got look at his mustache. If you can see his mustache right there. He's like a pubescent teenager. I don't quite get it. But his story is so sad and so pathetic, and he's like this stool pigeon in Bloodhaven that Nightwing is constantly smacking around, but he's ultimately committing crimes for his dad. And get this, his dad's name is King Sturgeon.
Why? Why is he getting oxygen in his nostrils? That doesn't make sense.
Oh, you know what? That makes a lot. Yeah. Holy crap. I didn't even think about that when I saw that picture. He's a fish. Why would you give him oxygen? I just thought about that.
Why wouldn't you put it in through his gills?
Yeah, actually, that's a very good point. But yeah, it's just his dad is sick, and so he's turned to a life of crime to pay for his father's hospital bills, and it's the weirdest it's this weird pursuit of happiness, sad sack story about Shark Boy and his dad, and it is kind of got this weird subtext about the healthcare industry and how callous it is. I just wanted to point that out. I just thought that was really interesting. Johnny brought it to our attention. I was like, that's odd. Like, we have to talk about this in some way, shape, or form.
Weird.
So if you guys know more about Geppi, throw some trivia in there. Like, I read recently, actually I read today on Wikipedia that his dad is now deceased.
Oh,
So,
oh my God. R.I.P.
so actually,
King Sturgeon.
yeah, I repeat King Sturgeon. Actually, Johnny's telling me we got comments here. What do we have in the comments right now? I've never met anyone as excited about Shark Week as I am. Actually, you have not met Ashton. That is clear.
It's me. I'm excited.
Tony Craig said, I missed the name of the Comic-Con he was talking about. It's Mainframe Comic-Con. So just go to mainframecomiccon.com and check it out. But yeah, and also if you guys know any more about Geppi and what happened to his dad, let us know, because now we're very much concerned about all of this. It's it's turned very tragic very quickly. Anyway, Anton coming in with a paragraph. I knew that would be inevitable, that Comic-Con would become. This year I will miss it. I have so many memories and love all the things that I've done. They're interesting people just by staying in the line. Great celebrities: David Tennant, Peter Capote, Christopher Lloyd, Peter Davison, Jim Cummings, and the list can go on and on. So he's going to miss New York Comic Con, it looks like. Yeah, and I get it. Like I don't know, Ashton. Between me, you, and the room, right? I'm not going to miss New York Comic Con that much.
I don't love New York Comic Con. It's way too packed for me. It's uncomfortable.
Like, I used to have anxiety in crowded spaces, and then it kind of went away. Like, once I got a little bit older, once I got into my 20s, it kind of went away. But New York Comic Con brings it back full tilt, and it just, we do these interviews I'm not trying to rag on New York Comic Con. It's a good fan experience. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's if you have any claustrophobia or anything like that, probably not the show to you. Compared to San Diego Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con is a literal breeze. It's so wide open and airy, and New York Comic Con is you're huddling. God forbid it rains outside, or that it's 90 degrees outside. It just makes it 10 times worse.
When you go in and then you go through the security, and then to the right there's stairs to go down, kind of like a hallway towards Artist Alley. That hallway towards Artist Alley is the worst, and there's an escalator that goes up into the exhibit hall right there too. It is my nightmare.
No, I believe that.
You can't get anywhere. And
also, I've heard the Artist Alley can be pretty brutal. If you're down there for hours on end, which if you're an artist in Artist Alley, you will definitely be. So, yeah. That's. Check out the marketplace. Check out New York Comic Con's online event. They're also doing this other thing called Metaverse, which is going to kind of coincide with that. And I just saw actually today that our very own Anamia is going to be doing a cosplay masterclass for the Metaverse. So definitely check that out. Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, it is New Comic Book Day, right? So how about what's at comic shops? Ashton and I are going to give you our picks this week, and we're going to talk about some of the books that are dropping at your local comic shop today. All right, Ashton, I'm gonna let you go first, and actually, I'm gonna let you go first because it is hot in this house right now. So I'm gonna run and turn the AC up. But Ashton, you go first, and you tell me all about what you're picking up this week. Okay.
All right, so this week I'm picking up Darth Vader #4, which I've talked about this series before because I really, really like the way that they've tackled this. So this Darth Vader series, it picks up right after the end of Empire. So Darth Vader #1 is the literal moments after Darth Vader tells Luke that he's his father. So that's kind of where we are in the grand scheme of things. So Darth Vader #4 is, kind of following him on this war path to basically discover and murder everyone that kept Luke from him. And so he's on this search for everyone that knew about his existence, and that search leads him to Naboo, which has a whole different set of problems. So while he's on Naboo, he comes across Padme's tomb, and that opens up an entirely different can of worms. And this comic's really great because by the time Luke revisits Vader in Return of the Jedi, and he's kind of a fully formed Jedi, and he says to Darth Vader what he says about being Anakin, that really gets under Vader's skin. So this series is kind of exploring what were all of the things that kind of put cracks in Vader's armor to get to the point where he was willing to pick Luke over the Emperor at Return of the Jedi, or at the end of Return. And so this whole series, this whole specific issue is about him kind of coming to terms with what happened to Padme and her death, and if it was actually his fault. And if you know anything about Anakin, like, he's not great at emotions, especially ones that are competing with each other.
Right. Or so taking the blame.
Right, exactly.
Not big on accountability, that Anakin.
Nope. So he shows up at her tomb, and for whatever reason, like, you know, Luke is 22-ish in Empire. That seems to be the going agreement. So 22 years later on Naboo, there's still loyalists to Padme that he kind of has to confront with, and that includes Padme's handmaiden, who is distinctly in the camp that it's Anakin's fault that Padme died, and I think that's a whole different debate. I don't know that it's directly his fault, but that's neither here nor there.
Okay. All right. Okay. Interesting. Why is it not his fault? I'm curious about this.
I mean, it's his fault, but it's not directly his fault in that, like, he did not murder her. Like, he didn't strike her down, but I think his own descent into madness played a part in that.
Okay, but, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a conversation to be had there about, like, your own strength, the strength of a woman and getting strength from men. But that's an entirely different conversation.
Interesting. Okay. All right. That definitely seems like a rabbit hole that we'll have to talk about in depth at a different time. But okay, that's cool. Actually, I remember specifically when this is the Greg Pak series, the new Greg Pak series. Yeah. So I remember specifically when that issue 1 dropped, and I remember how amped you were to see Padme in issue 1, and like her Force ghost kind of following Vader around, kind of like giving him a stern talking to. So yeah, I'm actually kind of curious about this too. We just last week we were talking about how I personally feel that we didn't need the prequel movies to underline Darth Vader's story.
Yeah.
And I want to point out that the reason I say that is because I feel like that a story like this, like the one that you're talking about right now with this new issue, Darth Vader, is the story that we could have gotten that have served the same purpose. Like, you know, this, you know, and also, I mean, yeah, of course he'd be pissed that, like, people kept his kids from him, you know, or as far as he knows, his one kid at this point in time, he doesn't know about both of them. You know, so like, yeah, I think that to me is actually more of an interesting story off the break. It's like he's hunting down the people that took his kids away from him, and then he goes back to Naboo, and now he's got to face all these ghosts from his past, and including apparently Keira Knightley. So there you go.
Specifically Keira Knightley.
Okay, Jeff Mathis. So Anakin is murder in the 3rd degree? I don't know. You know, I hate to say it, I don't know what all the degrees of murder are. I know first is the worst, right? So.
Yeah, first is the worst.
That's how judges learn it. They just learn the 1st degree is the worst. The worst.
Right. 3rd is like you're indirectly involved in a murder, but it's not premeditated in any way.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, then there you go. I find it interesting that you knew that off the top of your head, Ashton, but okay. Interesting.
I watch a lot of Discovery Channel.
I was just going to let that silence hang in there like a fart in church. I was just going to let it sit there. Okay. Anyway, my pick this week, and I want you guys' opinion about how you say this, because I actually got into a debate with one of my coworkers about this one time. It's an old title called Wonder Woman Hikatea, or is it Hikatea? Because according to Alan, it's Hikatea. According to me, it's Hikatea. But there's a deluxe edition. Why would
that be pronounced Hikatea?
I don't know. I feel like it might be some Latin word or something like that. So who knows? But either way, it's Greg Rucka and J.G. Jones. This is actually an old Wonder Woman story that pits her directly against Batman as she's trying to protect a female who has Amazonian lineage. Did I say that right? Lineage. There you go.
Yeah.
And it's actually one of the earliest stories I remember reading featuring Wonder Woman, where I was like, oh, Wonder Woman's cool. Okay, this is okay. I like this, you know, because I feel like I'm in this group called Cartoonist Kayfabe on Facebook, and someone recently posted that Wonder Woman has no good stories, and I'm like, that's absolutely not true. The character's been around for 80 years. Like, and people always like, well, the best story that's ever been written about her is Azarella and Cliff Chang's run. But no, that's so not true. You got George Perez. There's some cool stuff that Denny O'Neil did back in the day. And on top of this, you have Greg Rucka's run, specifically this particular story, which is a great crisscross between Wonder Woman and Batman. It shows their dynamics, how they are morally at odds. but also how they agree on certain things. And it really does come to a head in this story. So it's like a great fun piece. It's J.G. Jones, so it's got great artwork. It's Greg Rucka, who's actively the Wonder Woman writer, or was recently the Wonder Woman writer. I think he just stepped down as Wonder Woman writer. But if you're a fan of either one of those people, or if you're a fan of Wonder Woman, you should definitely check out Wonder Woman Haiketia, the deluxe edition hardcover. That's in comic shops today. Let's talk about some big ticket items. How about that, Ashton?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, I'm gonna pull up my other screen real quick. Actually, first of all, can we talk a little bit about Free Comic Book Summer? Can you talk? Can you let us know what's going on in the world of Free Comic Book Summer?
Absolutely. So today is the 5th week of Free Comic Book Summer. It is kicking off. There'll be 5 new titles you can get at your local comic shop. So this is your selection. I want to point out the 2 that seem to be getting the most hype are Blade Runner and Critical Role, which also has a Norse mythology story from Neil Gaiman in there. But also you have Eric Powell and his Albatross story. Surprisingly, not the Goon this year, though.
Okay.
And also Little Lulu from John Corley and Supermercado from Oni Press. Before you head out, make sure you contact your local comic shop so you can find out when and how they're giving them away. Not every shop has the same setup, so just make sure you have all the info before you head out.
Yeah, and I will just reiterate that because we keep getting questions about this. Check with your comic shop first, please. Like everybody's doing something different. Like, you know, I know that's not going to stop the questions from coming, but I'm telling you this for your own sake. Check with your local comic shop first. Okay. Anyway, big ticket items this week. First of all, Zelda Twilight Princess. There's a new volume coming out from Viz Media. If you're definitely a Legend of Zelda fan, a Link fan, and Nintendo fan in general, you definitely will want to check that out. There's also a new, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this. This is a new graphic novel called Cruel Summer. Sorry, I almost said that weird. I said Cruel Summer from Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, who's the the award-winning team, the fan favorite team, the inseparable team behind Criminal and so many other great comics. Oh, I'm sorry, so many other great graphic novels. And so definitely check that out if you're a fan of their work already. 7 Secrets is a new book from Boom Studios, which kind of feels like a little bit like National Treasure to me, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Also for Ashton, there's a Baby Yoda 10-inch pop, but it looks like you've already graduated to life size, so I don't even know if you want the 10-inch pop.
I don't even know if I could get my hands on that pop at this point. I know it's sold out in a lot of places.
That's true, yeah. And we're distributors, and we can't even get a hold of it, so that tells you something. Personally, I'm a big fan of the Castlevania TV series. I love Diamond Select Toys' Castlevania action figures. They look spot on, like they just look cool and awesome, like they look like just like the animated characters. And yeah, if you're a Castlevania fan like me, definitely check that out. Big Girls #1 is dropping this week, and if you remember correctly, we interviewed Jason Howard, more specifically Mia, and Ashton interviewed Big Girls creator Jason Howard. And so be sure to get a look at that interview on our YouTube right now, because you can get some fun insight into that book. Oblivion Song, which I think is another favorite of yours, Ashton. Robert Kirkman's post-apocalyptic story continues this month. Amazing Spider-Man has a new installment as well. And I know everyone is eagerly anticipating The King in Black, so you should probably pick up Venom this week, because all roads are leading in that direction right now for Marvel Comics. So definitely check that out. So I brought up 7 Secrets earlier today. That's coming from Boom Studios. How about you guys watch a trailer real quick, and then when we come back, we're going to enter the great debate: floppies versus graphic novels. Check out 7 Secrets. All right, cool. And that was Seven Secrets from Boom Studios. That's from the creator, from the people behind Deceased and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That is out today. It kind of reminds me a little bit of, it sounds like somewhere between Da Vinci Code and National Treasure. So definitely a high adventure, unpack the mysteries of, I'm assuming the world, like we're not quite sure yet, but I'm sure that more of that's going to develop over time. So definitely pick that up at your local comic shop. And how about time for some asinine arguments, Ashton? You ready? Oh,
Yes.
coffee. Coffee Breach. Cartoonist Kayfabe is great. It is. It's actually one of my favorite YouTube channels, besides this one. So there you go. Coffee Breath. Make sure that you're. I say Coffee Breach. Coffee Breath. Make sure that you're subscribed to our channel as well as Cartoonist Kayfabe. Coffee Breath also saying, is there a Jack Kirby King of Comics free comic book day issue? Is that a thing?
There is, yeah. It's coming out later in the summer. I think it's coming out in one of the first 2 weeks of September. It's one of the last ones that'll hit shops, but it is around. It is still happening. It's just got a little bit of a later release.
Okay,
if you head to freecomicbookday.com, there's an article on there that has the entire release schedule, so you can figure out exactly when it's hitting shops there.
There you go. Do it yourself.
I don't know off the top of my head, but the info's around, I promise.
Oh, what is this? Baby Shark says hi.
Baby Shark, do 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 do.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Johnny, did he mute? Did I get muted on purpose?
Yes, you did.
I thought it was my headphones, but Johnny was just like, screw that noise. I'm not interested in any more Baby Shark. Johnny also has kids, so I'd imagine he might have already heard it like a million times already.
Yes.
So anyway, time for asinine arguments with Ashton. Ashton, I'm gonna let you take it away, and you're gonna give us the great debate of all time.
Ooh.
Here we go.
Okay, so like Troy said, we asked you guys to settle this great debate once and for all, although it has not been settled by any stretch of the imagination. We asked you guys to pick a side between floppies, single issues, comic books, whatever you want to call them, and graphic novels or trades. Tell us what you prefer and why. And everybody left very angry comments, so let's read through some of them. Mariki, that's a pretty name. I probably said it wrong.
Marika.
Marika, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Marika. Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry, fam. Didn't mean to do you like that. She said both. I love the excitement and anticipation of reading monthly comics, and I love the variety and uniqueness of so many graphic novels. Additionally, after my third brain surgery damaged my vision, graphic novels became a way for me to read books again without requiring audio assistance.
Oh,
that's
wow.
incredible.
Wow, there you go. Look at that. That's actually pretty, yeah, that's actually pretty amazing.
Right? Tyson also said both. I prefer to read graphic novels because they're more sturdy and you can usually get a more full story at once, but I still like to collect the floppies for my favorite titles. Oliver said floppies, definitively. I prefer the episodic format and can wait patiently for the next installment. Jonas said, sad to say I prefer trade paperbacks for the simple reason they look so darn good on the bookshelf. You can't get the same visual impact from a box of comics that you'd get from a fully loaded bookshelf. And Clive said, like the collections trade so you can get the whole arc, but if not sure about a new comic, it can be good to get an issue or two. Grammar was not killing it there.
Is that the last one? Okay, that's the last one. Ashton, I'm going to fork it over to you. What is your preference? Because I kind of feel like, you know, I'm a bit more old school. You're more of the more recent generation of comic book readers. And the argument has been that the new generation of comic book readers, I think primarily because the attitudes that they grew up on manga, is that they prefer graphic novels. And also I want to point out, sorry, Ashton, I want to point out, yes, I understand the difference between graphic novels and trade paperbacks, but for the sake of getting lost in the weeds, we're just going to say anything collected is a graphic novel for the sake of this conversation. So I'm sorry.
That's funny that we're talking about this today because I spent a bunch of time on the phone with my boyfriend yesterday trying to like explain the difference between like floppies, trades, graphic novels, and omnibuses, and it was too much time. Anyway, to answer the question, I think it's fair to say that both have their merits. Like I appreciate a good cliffhanger, so for that reason I like floppy. I also don't love the word floppy because that makes me think of like a floppy disk that you like jam aggressively into a computer from 1998.
You're actually never supposed to jam them aggressively, but
Well, I was doing it wrong. I had to find out where in the world Carmen Sandiego was. I had things
okay.
to.
Respect.
Anyway, my audio is. I fixed it. I prefer graphic novels. Like I was trying to dance around about being like, they both have merits. And I think they do. And I can appreciate the cliffhanger element that you get from reading a single issue comic book that makes you like want to come back for more. But for me, like the way that I engage with fandom is like borderline obsessive. So I kind of want to have like, I'm being honest, like it is. I get very attached to characters. So I really want to have it all at once so that I can kind of find out the fate of things. I do also agree it does look nice on a shelf. That is true. But I think I prefer a graphic novel. I want to know what's happening next. I don't think I'm patient enough. Also, like you pointed out, like last episode, I have a tendency towards character-based stories, which like I can't just like walk away with the fate of my character in the air. So just like I think the stories that I prefer lend themselves the best to reading in graphic novel or trade format, whereas something like the superheroes were kind of born on that episodic format, and so they work the best in that format, whereas like these character-driven stories work better if you can kind of get a bigger look at it all at once, if that makes sense.
Sorry, hold on a second here. Actually, my comic book store is calling me. How about that? I must have done something wrong. I don't know what that is, but okay. Yeah, no, I can respect that. I don't look. I have a bunch of graphic novels behind me, like, but I also have like a ottoman filled with single issues, and so I'm a bit of an oddball in that even with. I'll give it, for example, like with a Netflix show where I can binge and watch everything back to back. Like I still will wait week to week to watch it, and I don't know if that's a form of habit because of how I grew up in ingesting entertainment. But like typically, I'm okay being siphoned, having my entertainment experience siphoned, and that's what floppies do. Like I mean, essentially, I know. We'll get into the whole terminology of floppies in a second because I'm glad you took issue with that because that's a whole nother conversation. Truthfully, I never even heard that term until I started working here. So
that's exactly what I said to Johnny earlier. I never heard the word floppies until I started working at Diamond.
Right.
Like at least in regards to comic books.
No, not at all. But yeah, so I guess overall, I think it depends on the structure of the story to me.
Okay.
Like, for example, we talked earlier today about Cruel Summer by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Well, that is designed to be a pulp novel, but in comic form. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like it's a comic. It's a comic book format. It's sequential storytelling, but it's meant to kind of embody a old school Mickey Spillane pulp novel. Like, you know what I mean? That's what Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips do repeatedly. They have done that numerous times, and it seems like they're leaning entirely towards original graphic novels at this point. And so that makes sense now. But also on the flip side of that, I am comfortable with the idea, and also it actually kind of gives me like this dorky, warm feeling knowing that every month I'm going to get a new X-Men story, or I'm going to get the continuation of a new X-Men story. You know what I mean? Like, I like that. I like that, especially in 2020. Like, 2020 has been such a funnel of suckage. on so many levels, right? And so it's kind of one of the things, truthfully, that has kept me going in a lot of ways. It's like, look, I love going to the movies. I can't do that anymore. You know, I would much rather watch movies in the movie theater, but we can't do that. You know, my gym time has been limited because of like, you know, the whole COVID thing. And so the one thing that kind of still gives me like that sort of, you know, joy, right, is knowing that like, okay, in a month, these characters are going to return. Like, you know what I mean? These characters are going to continue to tell me a story, and that's going to continue happening for months on end. You know what I mean? And I like that idea. I like that notion that they are constantly going to return, and I don't have to wait. You know, let's say like, I don't know what the longest wait for a Harry Potter book was, right? Let's say I don't have to wait 2 years, or in the case of Game of Thrones, 4, 5, 6 years for the next installment. Like, you know what I mean? It's coming out every single month. And I kind of feel that if things shift towards graphic novels entirely, which is another conversation around the DC situation. If things shift towards graphic novels entirely, that opportunity to go back in and revisit these characters on a month-to-month basis, it gets kind of lost. And who's to say that I'll
trade weight a lot?
It depends on what it is. Like, I mean, I definitely my comic shop, who just called me, my comic shop, like I have a pull box, and like I have certain books that I pick up every month. I pick up Infinity 8. Actually, a lot of them are sitting back there behind me. I get Infinity 8. I get Green Lantern. Anything Mark Miller does. I just knocked out the Punisher Soviet series, which I loved. My X-Men. Like I like being able to go there every couple of weeks. Get that a community experience, but also just revisit these characters and see where they are. Sometimes even characters that I haven't read in a while, like to just kind of be like, oh, what is Spider-Man doing now? You know what I mean? Like, what is Grant Morrison doing in this book this month or something like that? So,
I mean, you get that same experience with trades, though. It's just it's much more spread out if you're trade waiting.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can also pick up like an entire series from the start and get all of the trades and like. Well, I guess that's exactly the same thing I was saying about like obsessively binging something. Kind of lost my point here. But what I was going to say is, or what I was trying to say is, you can get that same experience with a trade. It's just much more spread out. So it's like the conversation really here is about like floppies versus graphic novels in like the form of storytelling, because trades kind of play this weird center area.
Mm-hmm. No, and I mean, I don't want to wag my finger at anybody for enjoying comics the way that they enjoy them. I think that
I'll wag it back.
Wag it back. Like I think like I have manga in here, and manga actually kind of follows the serialized format, but it's also presented in a large chunks as a graphic novel. So right there, that's like a middle ground between the two. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it really depends. Like, I think it really depends on the story for me and how the story is being told. I think with most things for me, it boils down to artistic intent. Like, what is the author, whether the artist and writer, trying to convey? And is this the best format? And you don't always know when it is the best format, but you definitely know when it isn't the best format for it, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So yeah. I would just say depends on what the creator's trying to accomplish. I think that would really be my big thing there.
That's interesting. I loved that we were able to have a civil conversation about this, because people were extremely angry in the comment section.
Yeah, no, they were angry specifically about the use of the word floppy, which is.
I can understand that anger. I think it is directed correctly.
I mean, well, I don't know about correctly. Like, I definitely had someone told me it was derogatory, which I don't agree with either.
Okay, yeah, that comment was that made me mad. I'm like, you have nothing else to do with your time. All the things going on in this world, and you're mad because we use the word floppies instead of like single issues or comic books. Go somewhere else. Go read a book. Like, but then get off Facebook.
And that's why I got Ashley here, guys, because she backs me up. I don't know. She's the muscle. She's the actual muscle here. Like, I just talk smack and then like back away, and then Ashley gets into the forefront and just fights everybody for me. So it's good. No, I mean, I had an exchange actually with Carrie actually on Twitter where I mentioned it to her, and she was like, derogatory, and I was like, yeah, like they're marginalized, like comic books are marginalized people or something, you know what I mean? It was a really strange argument. On the same token, like someone pointed a conversation to me on Twitter where Eric Larson, the creator of Savage Dragon, and Fabian Nicieza, the creator of Deadpool, the co-creator of Deadpool, both were just kind of railing against the terminology of floppies. But so here's my thing. And again, I want to point out, we're not stupid. We know the difference between graphic novels, trade paperbacks, and floppies. But here's the thing about the graphic novel as a concept. It's a marketing term. Like, I think you really have to get used to that idea. Like, it's just a marketing term. And floppies is just another marketing term. Singles is just another marketing term. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I don't know. It's not something to get all pissy about, I guess. So
I guess, like,
the coffee breath says, wait, there are angry people on the internet now? Yeah, apparently. It just started last week. I don't know what's going on here. I'm sorry, Ashley, what you about to say? Oh,
I
Julio.
don't want to like talk over the comments. Go.
Sorry. Single issues are awesome. I collect them because of their covers, but I prefer graphic novels because they take less space. This is also very true. I completely agree with that. Like, I'm constantly trying to reevaluate my collection of single issues and just kind of be like, do I really need this? Probably not. Do I really need this? I'm constantly trying to get it down to like a manageable level all the time. So, but yeah, my bad. What were we going to say, Ashton?
Oh, the thing with getting upset about like floppies or calling it whatever, or the terminology that you choose to use, like you're entitled to your opinion and you can say that it rubs you the wrong way, but again, it's really not like you yelling about it on Twitter makes no difference to anybody. Like, I'm sorry that you feel like it's inappropriate wording, but like, I think that's probably the least concern for the comic book industry right now.
No, I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And I'm glad you also brought that up because I'm thinking maybe next week we might revisit this topic a little bit, just in terms of maybe speaking in broader terms about, there's a lot of talk about DC transitioning entirely to original graphic novels, you know what I mean? Or just trade paperbacks and leaving the whole like single issue format behind. And I think that might be an interesting conversation to have about the future of the industry and like, is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? I mean, like, I have my opinions about it. So maybe we'll revisit it next week.
I think it's worth a conversation, and definitely part of that, we should revisit what you said about manga and just like it being serialized, but in a way that they're telling like an entire story start to finish that still fits inside of a larger story arc. Like, I think there's a way to accommodate both things.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And actually, I'm sorry, Johnny. Johnny said he wanted to chime in real quick. My bad, Johnny. What did you want to say?
Yeah, 5 minutes ago, but thanks for finally letting me join in.
All right, we were on a roll.
I know. Johnny, when we get on our soapboxes, it's all over.
Yeah, well, I am the producer of the show, so I could just shut you both up. And
exactly.
First of all, trade paperback, floppy.
That's true. That's a good point. Still floppy.
There's one thing I wanted to point out is that, at least for me, I'm kind of a casual comic book reader, but every time I want to like pick up a new story or hear something, it's something I want to read something that like I've heard a lot of talk about. That's how I got into Hush. That's how I got into Long Halloween. It's a lot easier for me to go and find a trade paperback or graphic novel instead of like digging through something that's like, a couple years old and find a bunch of single issues. So I think like from one perspective, the trade paperback / graphic novels are the perfect way to get people started in comic books. And then once they get invested in a character or a story arc or something like that, and they want to know more, then they can get more invested and then they can actually start getting the single issues.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. And like, I think that's a valid point, actually. Like, I mean, look, I'm going to have to move probably in a couple of months, right? And the graphic novels are going to be the easiest thing to move. You know what I mean? Like, the single issues are not. But that said, I wouldn't just outright just abandon single issues just because I still think they have merit. And to Johnny's point, what would you rather hand to like a new reader or like like a 7, 8, 6-year-old, right? Like, probably would give them a floppy and just be like, here, take a look at this. And that, single issues work that way. Like, they're good introductory tools. So anyway, how about our weekly poll this week, Ashton? What's going on in the world of other nerd debates going on?
Baby shark do 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 do. Baby shark do do.
Oh, Baby Shark has something to say.
We love Baby Shark.
I really hope this is actually the Baby Shark YouTube account. What is Baby Shark? Go off, sis. Go off.
Right.
What do you got to say?
Where does Baby Shark come from?
Yeah, where does this? Who has jumped into the comments? Let's find out what's going on, Baby Shark. Meanwhile, while we're waiting for his comment for Baby Shark, or is Baby Shark a girl or a boy? I don't know.
That is the comment. He's saying talk about Shark comics.
We are trying to talk about Shark comics.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There you go. Ash is not having it today. I love the attitude. Ash is just shutting everybody down, even little baby sharks. How rude.
I'm not in the mood for the stats today.
I'm sorry, Ash. What you got?
So it is Shark Week. If you missed the beginning of the show, it's Shark Week. Will Smith was on Shark Week last night, just to catch everyone up. So we asked you guys, in the spirit of Shark Week, who do you think would win in a fight? And we welcomed all of your crazy fan theories because, frankly, I live for those. And we picked King Shark against Baby Shark. And
right. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, wait. Actually, we're going to try something here because I'm actually curious how where Johnny's gonna weigh in on this.
Yeah, I think let's read the comments first, and then you guys
Let's get our comments.
Yeah, we'll do your arguments after we read the comments from the viewers.
Okay, all right, there you go. Let's do the viewer comments first. Let's see what's going on here. Take it away, Ashley.
Danny said, at first, Baby Shark would use his song Mind Control, but when he gets to run away, King Shark would snap out of it. He never runs away. From there, he would hold Mommy Shark in one hand and Daddy Shark and force them to watch him eat their baby. Oh my God.
Jeez. I shouldn't be surprised by any of this.
Austin says, in the end, Batman always wins. I saw this. Batman just whopping the heck out of a shark.
I mean, he didn't even break it. This is before he breaks out of shark repellent. This is the 66 Batman movie, which is all sorts of nonsense, but in a good way. Oh, what is this?
Serena said, how could you forget the most important shark of them all? Ew, what is that?
There's Gwenpool and something. I don't know.
That is Jeff the land shark. So in the comics, I can't remember. It was during Gwenpool's run, but she adopted a little land shark dog pet type creature.
Okay.
So I think it's weird. I'm gonna say that.
Also, Troy, you didn't pick this one, but I thought this one was kind of interesting.
What's up?
Gabriel said, "We'd like to have a word with your manager." So these are I can't remember the exact name of them, but they're nicknamed the Space Sharks, and this is actually a Warhammer Space Marine.
Okay.
So I'm like, very well done, Gabriel. So I thought that was really clever.
Good job.
There was also a comment in here, and I forgot to put it up there, but it said something like, Baby Shark doesn't come alone, and Grandpa Shark has seen some things in the war.
Yeah, I love that one.
I forgot to put it up there, but I definitely want to give it a mention. So
okay, there you go. No, I love that. That's awesome. All right, Johnny, you're the decider here. Like, well, first of all, Ashton, where do you fall on the side of this argument? Baby Shark or no Baby Shark?
Oh, Baby Shark for sure, because I think it's hilarious. I think Baby Shark would absolutely, first of all, he would annoy King Shark to death with that song on repeat. And I would like to nerd check somebody's comment by saying that the runaway do whatever, that part of the song, Baby Shark's not running away. You're running away from the sharks because they will eat you.
I mean, that logic lines up. I respect that. I have no shark in this race. So, Johnny, what do you got?
Well, I want to say here, talk about saying, but we can all agree digital sucks, am I right? Yes, we always prefer that you go to your favorite local comic shop.
Yes, we do.
Comic Book also says Jeff is in Deadpool now, so because initially he was in Gwenpool, and Gwenpool gave him over to Deadpool because Gwenpool's like, I don't know if I'm going to get another one-shot or series or whatever. So she broke the fourth wall and let Jeff leave the comic to go get adopted by Deadpool, if I remember correctly.
Hats off to that writer for knowing how to keep that other character's longevity going. I love it.
Yeah. So okay, so you want to know which way I swing in terms of like King Shark or Baby Shark?
Yeah. Which side are you on?
And this is this is the live poll that we have up right now at Free Comic Book Day's Facebook page. It still has 7 days to vote, so I still want to get everyone's input. But as you said earlier, I do have a 4-year-old, and hearing that nonstop made me want to just blow my brains out. So I am going to have to vote for King Shark just because
and there you go, guys.
Baby Shark served his purpose against you. Don't you feel like you've been defeated by that song?
Well, thanks, Ashton. Thanks for reminding me of that.
Well, actually, I should point out that 64% of the people who took this poll agree with you. So,
well, of course, look at the way King Shark looks. He's ripped. Obviously,
there's no picture of Baby Shark being ripped. So what? I don't know what kind of.
I mean, I would say never underestimate the power of trolls, Ash. And I was actually kind of hoping that trolls would just pile on Baby Shark and just vote for Baby Shark, and that would be that. But I guess not. Anyway. You guys can continue on the poll. Like, definitely, you can keep voting until tomorrow, I believe it is. So, you know what? Support Ashton in her campaign to get Baby Shark over. Like, you still have time. Still have time to vote for Baby Shark until tomorrow. So definitely make it happen. Anyway,
that be hilarious?
That would be hilarious.
That would be so funny.
Stop trying to sway the jury, Ashton. I see what you're doing here. Anyway, all right, we're almost done here. What do we got to do? We got to pay some bills, right? Comic Shop shout out. Yes. So what's going on with the Comic Shop shout out this week?
Comic Shop shout out this week goes to Metropolis Comics in LaSalle, Illinois.
All right. Thank you guys.
And
Much
if you want to
appreciated.
have your shop shouted out, find us on social media, tag your shop. Oh, it was shouted out by Mitch, by the way. Sorry. Want to give him some love.
Yeah.
If you want to have your shop shouted out on the show, find us on social media, tag your shop if they have a handle, and then also use the hashtag #BackToComeback, and we will find your shop and give them some love on the show.
There you go. Thank you very much, guys. So as always, support your local comic shop. And hey, show us some love too. I'm just going to remind you guys again that Mainframe Comic Con happens this weekend. Definitely keep an eye out for the 3 panels that I'm hosting. Go to mainframecomiccon.com for more. Hey, also check us out every Tuesday for Quiplash. Things went off the rails because Dad wasn't there.
Yeah, that's literally what happened.
Dad was there, or at least like your front uncle, and was trying to keep you online, and it just
That's
didn't
true.
happen.
This is true, right? Yeah, that's very true. We definitely had the fun uncle on the show yesterday. I would say definitely check out yesterday's show because it's just a wonderful mess. Not for the faint of heart, not for those who are easily triggered by Cardi B
Shaq
videos.
references?
By Shaq references, Sharknadoes, and Cardi B videos. Anyway, also Comic Talk is not happening this Friday. But Comic Talk will return, and we've already confirmed that we're going to have a little talk with one of the Umbrella Academy people, particularly Sean Simon. And Amia's got one coming up at the end of the month, so definitely keep an eye on that. And Ashton's going to have one soon. She'll probably have it before the Animia one, but we will, guys, we will keep you updated about when that's going to drop. So, unless, you know, oh, there you go, Yoda, and also shout out to Yoda, baby Yoda. I feel like he should talk or something. There you go.
There is one that talks. I got really excited. I needed him right away.
Well, you know what, Ashton? You can always start a Patreon. Just tell people to donate to your Baby Yoda fund. Anyway, that's it for Previous World Weekly this week. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood. Was that thunder?
That is thunder, yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, it's getting serious out here. Anyway, guys, we will see you all. Where my arm go?
Come on.
There you
There
go.
it is.
At the spinner rack. There you go. See you guys.